Just Vox.
Hey guys, it's another cool day for recaps, reviews, and spoilers. Welcome back to Just Vox Reviews. If you are watching for the first time, kindly smash that sub button. The penultimate episode begins where the previous episode ended. Hassam and Young Jun take Father Jun to a shed nearby for treatment. They just decimated an entire group of German gangsters after discovering how abhorrently they treat the Chinese people who work in their silver mine. Although Father Jun makes a full recovery from his physical injuries, the psychological impact is catastrophic. He spends hours staring at the wall and arguing with Long Zi, a man who is long dead. Later in the episode, he ventures into the Long Zi territory to call out his old rival and faces mockery from the current members of the gang. Meanwhile, his son begins to panic as he and his men can't find Father Jun anywhere in their territory. Li Yong spots what is happening through the window and gently guides the once dreaded gangster back to his home. Yan Mai reveals to Hassam that she has been keeping some of the money she makes for the Hopway. Realizing that Young Jun will undoubtedly kill her if he ever finds out. Hassam tells her never to reveal this to anyone else. Meanwhile, having learned about the relationship between Hassam and Yan Mi, Young Jun becomes concerned and instructs the counterfeit artist to begin training some of his men. Mai Ling visits her brother and invites him to her wedding, even telling him to bring Yan Mi. She later plays a mediator between a toy and a brothel owner operating in her territory and invites the other woman to her wedding. Elsewhere, Leary accompanies Strickland to the mayoral office and offers Buckley the election in exchange for him looking after their interests. Although it isn't shown whether Buckley agrees to these terms, the ending of the episode effectively implies that he does. A few Irish immigrants are arrested for trying to steal from a group of Chinese men. In response, these men venture into the Irritory and beat up a man who is not involved in this fiasco. This prompts Leary to venture into Chinatown and speak to Hassam. This is the first time these two men have seen each other since their fight and the riot. Despite the mutual animosity, they realize that neither community can afford another riot, so Hassam agrees to speak to the young people who attacked the Irish man. However, Leary's attempt to get his men released from police custody is less successful, as Chief Atwood refuses to let them go. As for O'Hara, he begins working as a laborer for his brother-in-law, who insists that the former police officer must start from the bottom. Yes, Happy Jack is dead in the third season of Warrior. The leader of a drug trafficking ring operating on the Barbary Coast, Jack becomes a tentative partner of the Hopway. In episode 5, he betrays both Lee and Cha and sends them to Georgia to Lee's family. Unfortunately for Jack, Lee and Chow survive the ordeal and return to California. They inform Lee's lover and Jack's former sister-in-law, Abigail, about what happened, and she helps them set up an ambush for the man. Abigail is the one who fires the first shot before Chow and Lee empty their guns on Jack, killing him. Afterward, Secret Service agent Mosley appears at Abigail's bar, revealing that he has also survived. Lee tries to quit the hunt for the plates, but Mosley reminds him that there are still the murder charges against him. Once the plates are found, he will make the charges go away. Lee has little choice but to accept, recognizing that this will make him and Chow active enemies again. For all intent and purpose, Buckley wins the election. When Strickland and Leary visit him, offering him the election in exchange for future promises, Buckley evidently accepts their terms. Later, his opponent, Thayar, visits him to concede his defeat. Strickland likely used the leverage he had on the man to force him to bow out of the mayoral race. Frustrated, Thayar tries to make his final moral stand in Buckley's office, but the latter reminds him of his privileged beginning and how that ultimately proves detrimental in political struggles against people like Buckley. Later, a triumphant Buckley returns home and makes love to Catherine. Despite being quite young, Lei has endured a number of traumatic events in her life. She lost her most recent home to Strickland's greed. She also lost some of the women who lived there alongside her and grieves for them even now. She knows that Strickland and the men he sent are responsible for what happened. She will likely get revenge against the man who executed the plan, but Strickland will probably get his comeuppance in Adoy's hand. Warrior Season 3 Episode 7 is a more calm achievement than the last's. There are small bits of action in the episode, but at the same time, the characters are the focus as the plotting for the last 3 episodes of the season is laid out. A foundation-laying episode. It's clear how much the showrunners have changed the course of Chinatown in just one season, as well as the trajectory of the characters. When you look back, the story has morphed into something new while still maintaining the characters at its core, and always foreshadowing for the end.